Hey there, and welcome to Nomad Gaming's first ever podcast series called Climbing the Ranks. Join the crew from Nomad Gaming's former competitive Xbox team as they delve deeper into the world of Rainbow Six Siege and the esports industry at large. Join us in sharing our passion for gaming, Rainbow Six Siege, and a whole wide variety of other topics. We thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoy. And we're live.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Talking about this tasty SI.
Rainbow Six Siege, 6th Invitational.
If you're just joining us for the first
2021.
time, we're climbing the ranks. A bunch of gamers from across the U.S. Well, mostly now the West Coast, huh? I'm outnumbered over
Yeah,
here. Eastern boys outnumbered.
unfortunately. Mr. Gojira had to move back home.
Move back home. So, we're a bunch of ex-Siege competitive players, given our post-group stage, pre-invitational playoff stage predictions. I'm Yeti. With me is Tree Bear, 4P, and PantzJr.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
How would you like to
Yeah.
All right.
How should we kick
Tournament.
this off?
Woo. Alright, let's
Well,
start with
start with Brett.
some
Start with Brett.
sort of. No, let's start with something
Or do you want to
small.
talk
So-
about
So we'll
group
just think
stages real
like.
fast?
Let's do group
Yeah,
stages
Yeah,
let's
let's
first.
just. What was your take on group stages? What was the biggest thing that you guys saw out of group stages?
You can start yet if you have something.
Okay, so Group A, of course, Team Empire and BDS at the top. You know, to me, those are two just absolute monsters of organizations. Um,
hmm
I hate to say it, I just don't think Team Liquid's real. I don't know why, but I just don't think that they're real. And I think, we'll see. We'll see what they do. FaZe surprised me. They upset a few teams. I know. Scrolling down here,
I
they
can
beat
pull it
DayZ
up.
real early, 7-4.
Yeah.
That
Did you just say
surprised me.
Daisy?
Or Dark
Daisy,
Zero,
yeah.
sorry, D. They beat Dark Zero 7-4, which really surprised me because I thought Dark Zero had it in the bag. I don't know about you guys.
I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
like
day
DZ always have
one.
this.
Yeah,
Always had this problem.
And
they took a little bit to get their engines
to
running.
get started, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's like easy. I didn't think they had a bad group stages. I mean, they didn't have good ones either.
Right.
It's kind of like last year where they just kind of cruised by and didn't really do anything. So
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's an overarching theme with NA this year, and I kind of feel like they're all the teams that showed up at SI minus Parabellum since they're an outlier. They won through qualifiers and they were a CL team. I just feel like the rest of NA, like actual pro teams, tier one teams, they kind of showed a lot of complacency.
Yeah.
oh,
can
for
see
sure,
that.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, the one thing I will say is Parabellum. I think is underrated for sure. Like they had some huge upsets, just like FaZe as well. They had some huge upsets and some really close games as well. So they are ones to look at. Maybe not to get super far, but just to have a nice little bracket run. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
I could see them being like fours in the was it Raleigh? Fours in Raleigh,
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
I know
kind
what
of
you
like
mean.
that kind of situation. But it could just blow over in the first round. So
Yeah.
The biggest surprise out of Group A for me was how bad G2 played.
oh my god, yeah,
Yep.
Just mind blowing.
they were awful. They did not look like anything remotely close to G2.
No.
And that's
And
something I'm like looking at when I was looking brackets. I was like, yeah, this
the
just
thing
doesn't
is
look good.
too is like they brought what Pengu retired obviously. They brought
Hmm.
in Kayak. He had a whole stage one of Pro League to become more
Get
adept
acquainted,
at
right?
his role, understand how the team dynamic works, etc.
Mm.
Yet that's still not enough for G2. And if you and I was looking at the player stats. One of the highest rated players out of the entire tournament, top 10, is Citizen. Who almost also broke 100 kills in his KD.
Hmm.
So it just feels for a team that was supposed to be a super team when Pengu was there, it looks like they're falling off from it, and they're starting to become a little lopsided from what I've seen.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I could. There was. I don't remember who it was, but one of the casters was saying, man, they really want to see Virtue start picking up his role because, I mean, he hasn't been playing bad, but they said like I would really liked him to, get back to his former glory kind of area, and
Mhm.
he just hasn't been playing super well in this invitational. But yeah, I just think G2 as a whole, not looking up to par.
Yeah, just to add real fast, because I we should probably move on from talking about one team, but just about the G2 thing is they lost their identity, I would say.
Mhm.
Their roles kind of feel they have certain roles, right? We've seen it. Certain players play certain ops. They do certain jobs. But minus Kayak, I feel like they've been trying to swap and figure out who they are as a team.
Yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
so far, since through stage one, it's been rough.
They used to seem to be, to me, the team that imposed their will on their opposition, and you just don't see that kind of mind game anymore. They're just
Yeah,
kind of
Yeah, they're the ones
another
getting
team.
pushed into situations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Anyway, here's a secondary question for you guys. If you guys had to take one kind of dark horse, who would it be? Who would be your dark
well,
horse of the tournament right now?
we haven't really gone over Group B, have we?
No, not yet.
First off, real fast.
Yeah, I guess we could do that real quick.
So Group
Group
B,
B was like, who was that even?
so
Go
TSM,
ahead, yeah.
MIBR, Ninjas in Pajamas,
Okay.
Oxygen, M and K or Makers, sorry, M and Kers, another organization, Parabellum, Space Station, Giants, and of course
Hmm.
Virtus and Wildcard dropped out, but
That was out of their hands.
out of the
Virtus Pro
out of
had
control. Yeah.
uh, two players
Last minute.
got COVID, I think, and
Hmm.
then they had to drop out. Wildcard
Feels bad, man.
had Australian issues where I don't think they could have left country even if they wanted to.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they could have.
So out of Group B, I'm really not surprised at TSM. I mean, there were a couple times that I was surprised they didn't play as well as I thought they could have.
Hmm.
But MIBR continues to be a force. Ninjas in Pajamas continues to be, you know, I wouldn't
Yeah,
say a dark horse because we kind of expect them to play strong, but they're always somebody that, like, personally, I don't give them the respect that they probably deserve.
same here.
Um, Oxygen, of course, and yeah, Makers. Makers are
Oxygen
my
had a good group
dark
stage.
horse for sure.
Oxygen had a really good group stage.
Yes, it did.
Hmm.
But, I mean, round
We're
robin kind of situation, not.
Yeah, it's not
We'll see.
ideal in order to truly
They aren't
test
the.
the strength of each team, but
Yeah, they
it
aren't
is
the
what it
best
is.
in bracket play for sure. I
Hmm.
think they do a lot better with a best of one. But
Yeah. So back to your question, Brett, if you want to say it again.
yeah, sure. So if you had one dark horse, Yeti kind of already alluded to it. Who would your dark horse be for this tournament?
You can go, yeah?
So
You have a
mine
good one.
is yeah, mine is Makers. Um, I've just been super impressed with how they've played. Definitely for somebody that never really heard about them or heard of them previously,
Hmm.
and they've just really impressed me with how they've played, together and everything else
Yeah, and
so far.
they're an Italian team that are considered tier 3
Yeah,
in Europe
yeah.
because they haven't even made it to like I think they're top of their national league, which is the how they restructured Europe is what leads into CL for them, I believe. So they're not even tier 2 yet. But everyone believes that obviously they have what it takes to get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Brett? Do you have a dark horse?
Well, the way that they were playing, and I know they're kind of, uh, I know they're not pro league, and they kind of just like got in, but Parabellum looked really good, even though I mean, they were last place at one point. They were first place at one point in their group, but then they kind of fell off near end of group stages. But they had a lot of upsets, so I think Parabellum is my dark horse for this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely an underdog, if to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of spoke about each group state or like each group A and group B being different. Like group A was really a test of consistency because there's a full 10 stack of teams to play against, right? And
Yep.
obviously we saw Empire BDS show up. The two LATAM teams in FaZe and Liquid were really fighting for that third and fourth spot for upper bracket placements against, DZ and Team 1.
Mm-hmm.
Furia
Yeah.
even had a show out on day 1. While
Yeah,
Group
they really did.
B was a total war zone every single day. It was lopsided, and like I think day 2 had Giants and Parabellum winning almost every single match that day for them,
Mm-hmm.
with Giants losing the tiebreaker against Parabellum for the day. And then after that, inconsistencies on each team kind of showed out where I think Parabellum got 7-0'd the next play day, which is unfortunate. But, SSG coming back to form a little bit to kind of save face, even though players said they didn't really felt like they deserved the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They still got to show up. They still got to play. Makers were just on a tear each and every single day, even though they're great as a team, but when they get stuck on a problem, albeit in terms of utility, I think that's where they're going to falter a bit
Where they
against the
stall.
higher
Yeah.
ranked teams.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And then, of
The one-
course, top 4 in Group B were back and forth matches each and every single day for them.
What I feel bad for is Cloud9 because they had so many overtime, long games that they
Yes.
didn't win, and that's gotta feel bad, man. That's gotta feel real bad.
Yeah. And the overarching theme that I remember seeing stat wise that everyone kept saying about the APAC teams is it hurt. It was you would think getting the entry pick would determine, success in the later half of a round, right? Well, that was the exact opposite for the APAC teams.
Yeah.
Consistently, they would get opening pick and they would slow down the tempo of their attacks or defenses. And they wouldn't press upon it on the enemy team, which cost them, as you can see, many games, a ridiculous amount of games.
And I
Yeah,
think even
I
going
don't
back
quite
to our
know.
comp days, I think whoever got that first pick, I think that really it either, gave you momentum to get another pick or it really just derailed your entire strategy.
Mhm.
It let the team that got the pick decide the pace. That's
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the Cloud9 just didn't do that. I don't even think Giants did that really because they had some good picks as well. They just wouldn't set the pace either. So it's just like,
Yeah.
all right.
An unfortunate thing I was thinking about every time I watched the APAC teams play was like, damn, this is like Nomad Gaming. I hate to say it, but that's kind of
Yeah.
that's what happened to
No,
us.
that's true.
Like
That's
they're good
definitely true.
games. The score lines are kind of deceiving. Like everyone's playing a good game. It's just unlucky
Unlucky, yeah. Yeah.
strategy implementation of
Timing and
what you
everything
want to
else.
do. Yeah. So fun group stage. Got to see a lot of fun matches. But that should bring us, unless anyone else had another question, should bring us to what we are thinking about for playoffs.
That's all I had for that portion.
Yeah. Brett, anything else you wanted to talk about for group stage?
No, not really. I think we covered the gist of it that
Yeah.
we wanted to talk about.
It's like
Now we
we
get
could
into the
go
meat and
on
beans.
for quote unquote hours talking about
Yeah.
each group stage match, but that's not why we're here for this.
Right.
We gotta get through. We gotta get through the next
Mm-hmm.
part here.
So
Oh,
who would
sure.
like to
Fun
go
part.
first for their predictions?
Well, you were the first one to post something, Yeti. I still think
I'll go
you
first.
should go
We'll
first.
go in order. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
All right. So where did Yeti come? There he is.
Wait, where did Yeti what? Just kidding.
All right. Listen here.
All right, you're gonna have to explain some of the later matches, Yeti, I think, because
Yeah.
you didn't.
So basically, there's still a whole lot of unknowns in my mind. A lot of I'll see it when I see it. Um,
Yeah.
but basically for the day one matches, I think Empire is going to edge over Oxygen 2-1. I think it's going
Hmm.
to be a really, really good game, really close game, but I think Empire is eventually just going to just outlast Oxygen. Um, as far as Liquid and MIBR, I think MIBR is going to edge them. Um,
Hmm.
and I think this second round matchup of Empire and MIBR is going to be an amazing match, but not the best match of the entire Invitational. For that one, I actually expect BDS and TSM to be one of the best matches of the entire Invitational, if my bracket goes to
Oh.
plan. Um, but in order for that to happen, BDS has to edge past NIP, and TSM has to get past FaZe. I think they're both going to win 2-1. I think, really, I think all of day one. I think it's all going to be close games, but I think Empire, MIBR, BDS, and TSM are going to come out victorious.
All right. What about the lower bracket for day one?
For the lower
Those
bracket,
bottom four games.
I can see SSG edging a couple games, but I just don't know how much steam. I think if in a perfect world if Canadian stayed with the group, I think they would be upper bracket. But
Hmm.
switching back and forth between him and Luke, I think kind of derailed some of their momentum, some of their, consistency as a team. If they can find that, you know, original group again, that kind of, that vibe and everything, I think they could have a lot of
Yeah.
success. But we'll see what happens. As far as G2 and Parabellum, I think G2 is going to edge them, but I don't think it's going to be like we talked about earlier. I don't think it's going to be a G2 powerhouse. As far as that goes, so it would be what? Oxygen and SSG here for my
Let's
pick.
see. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oxygen
Oxygen
SSG and
SSG.
then Liquid G2 for you.
Okay. I think Liquid would beat G2 and face SSG. I think SSG would beat Oxygen if they can find their previous SSG-ness.
Yeah. Pull something
Um,
out for SI.
yeah. I think Dark Zero is going to get the advantage here. And of course, Makers. I got them riding
Hmm.
all the way. I think they're my
You
dark
yeah, I
horse.
can see that. No
But
matter what.
yeah, I think BDS and TSM is going to be an amazing match, and I think really realistically, if this happens, I think TSM can fight their way back into the grand final. Um,
All right.
but I think
I see it.
once we get to that latter stage, I think we're going to be cruising for some really really good games.
Gotcha. Uh just to bring it back from your bracket, what did you think about what's your DZ matchup against NIP, do you think?
Um, for DZ and NIP, I
It'd be
would
the
say
second. Yeah.
yeah, I would say Ninjas is going to get him.
All right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm confident about
Yeah.
that pick.
Gotcha. And then Makers, of course.
Makers, makers.
Way to keep it simple. So
Yep.
if I'm gonna force you on this one. So
Okay.
grand finals, who do you think is making it to the grand finals and what's your score line?
So making it to the grand final, I'm gonna say a rematch between BDS and TSM. I think
TSM,
I
okay.
think BDS
Hmm.
bullies them here, and TSM goes on a warpath for revenge. And I think we go
Gotcha.
grand finals best of five, correct?
It should be,
Yep.
yes,
Should be.
with a
Okay.
upper bracket.
+1.
Um, yeah, +1.
Okay. Um,
Which I'm very surprised they did that again.
Yeah, no, it is
Oh,
what it is.
either way. Yep.
I don't
It's
know.
not
I
my
don't know.
favorite thing. I
I
don't
don't
think
know
it's
what the
any of
score
our
line would
favorite
be.
things.
No.
No.
Score line's tough. Score line's real tough.
Mm-hmm. They're out of number. It's okay if you're gonna be wrong.
I'll say I'll say 3-2. I'll say
3
TSM,
2.
yeah, I'll say TSM picks up the disadvantage, and they still win it 3-2.
Ooh, there you
Wow.
go.
Okay.
Lower bracket wins.
Yep.
All right.
And they bring it home.
Only because, like I said, I think BDS bullies them in this round right here, and I think TSM comes back.
All right.
Yeah.
So there you have it, Yeti's prediction.
Yep.
After all of the chaos of the lower brackets and upper bracket, it's going to think it's BDS, TSM, with TSM taking the win in a close one.
Good predictions. I think
Should be a good one.
very reasonable.
Alrighty.
Sam has been shown face pretty much, so we'll see. What about you,
Yeah.
Ponce? You
want me
you
to-
put the second one
Yeah,
in
even
there.
though I
So what is
deleted
your,
it, I put the full one up now. So mine's at the
yeah,
bottom,
so
Yeti. All right, so looking at mine, I think about the same thing that Yeti was talking about against, the Empire versus Oxygen. I think it's going to be a 2-1 because Oxygen is going to show up. They're going to play. They're going to have an advantage on one of the maps at least. They have to have an advantage somehow. Working on something. They've been building up throughout the group stage, and it's going to come down to a close third map. Empire takes it though. Unfortunate. Oxygen falls to lower bracket. I personally think not TSM, sorry, that's later. Liquid versus MIBR. I think Liquid still has the advantage against them. Even though MIBR has been showing up each day of the group stage, Liquid still has shown that they can take any Latin American team back, just push them back.
To the bank.
Yeah, like I think there was the Brazilian tournament that happened recently. I forgot what it was called. It's like Copa Elite or something like that. I would have to relook it. But it was also the exact same matchup right here of MIBR versus Liquid, where MIBR had the advantage against Liquid, yet still Liquid came back and won. For the third matchup of the upper bracket, I think NIP gets absolutely shut out. I don't think they show up on day one. I think it's a 2-0.
Interesting.
Same thing with TSM versus FaZe. I think TSM shows up. They really show that they still got it. They work on all the mistakes that they had throughout Group B's, group play.
Mm-hmm.
I think FaZe has just an unlucky day. Not that they don't get shut out. They'll try to make a comeback in the early rounds, but they can't make it back. That's my prediction right there for upper bracket play in day one. Let's see. Lower bracket, I think Team 1 has it over SSG.
Interesting.
SSG has just
Spicy.
been too inconsistent. Even though they brought back Canadian, the entire team of Bosco, who's been playing well, Rampy and Folds and Thinking Aid, right? Those are the four main dudes. All throughout the NAL, they have just been so inconsistent as a team.
Yeah.
And I don't think bringing Canadian back can fix that in such a short amount of time. And it's unfortunate, but I think they'll have a little spurt of energy near the end. They'll take a map, they'll swipe it away. But I think Team 1 has just been so dominant in gaining momentum to make it at least to another day. Parabellum, G2. I think G2 absolutely stomps Parabellum. I'm not going to lie. Parabellum has had a good day. Singular good day out of the group stages. They have gotten stomped on 2 separate occasions.
Yeah.
If you look at the stats, they just were not there. They did not show up. Albeit the matches after they got stomped, they brought it back a little, but they still lost. I just think they're too inexperienced against what G2 will be bringing to the table. Let's see. DZ Furia. I still think DZ is going to win in a best of 3 against Furia. Though in day 1, we saw Furia beat DZ. I just think that gave too much information to DZ that they had, they have time now to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think DZ takes it. It's still going to be a close one. I think it's going to come down to map 3 and OT type of situation. Cloud9 and Makers, I think Makers takes it. I don't think Cloud9, they showed up. APAC made it. Congratulations. I think that's it. Yeah. So Makers moves on. Cloud9, of course, they'll obviously. I think they'll be able to take a map at the very least. But if they beat Makers, I won't be too surprised. I still think Makers will take it though. Sorry if we're going a little flip flop on that one. Day two would be, I think they said upper bracket semis and the lower four that made it from day one. So I think Empire demolishes Liquid. I don't think Liquid's ready to face Empire at the current state on LAN. And this would be something that kind of like hopefully doesn't destroy their mental. Because if it's a 2-0, that's going to be real bad. But it's just a matter of how they come back from that. I think was it? Yeah, BDS TSM. I think BDS still wins out against TSM. They've had matches against each other in the past. They faced each other in I think a minor before even when their rosters were still young, but BDS still has the edge on TSM. And I think it's a 2-1, close one. Teams play out of their minds, show us some new things. Lower bracket, I think MIBR. Wait, sorry. Where am I? Where am I? Missed it. I missed it. Day 2, right.
Day 2,
OXG versus T1, Team 1. I think Oxygen still has the edge against this Latin American team, even though they're a very explosive roster. But I don't think Team 1 can rely on their one-man army or two-man duo to beat OXG. But it's probably going to be an exciting matchup. I think MIBR beats out G2 just because, G2 has also been playing at an inconsistent level. They're still struggling to find who they are. But hey, watch me eat my words, right? Let's see. I think NIP stomps DZ. Not gonna lie. I think that's like the final 2-0 we see. Yeah. So NIP, they come back to form. They show why they were, in the running to win ISI last year. They show us why they're here. Let's see. FaZe versus Makers. I think this one is the real 50-50. Whoever Makers face on day 2, that's the real 50-50 Maker right there. Because no matter who they face, it's going to be a rough matchup.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be close and down to the wire. And if it's FaZe, I think they pull out just like a singular round ahead of them. Yeah, very tight matchup. I still don't really know. I'm not confident in that 2-1 call, but it has to be someone, and I think FaZe wins it. Day 3, I'm thinking it's all lower bracket. So that would be Oxygen versus MIBR. I think MIBR has the edge over Oxygen. Just overall team play compared to Oxygen, I think they still have it. NIP versus FaZe. I think FaZe has shown that they've beaten NIP more times than they have lost to them. So I'm just simply thinking about the statistics there. I'm not thinking about how the players are going to feel about that. And then following that, from semifinals, from upper bracket semis, bring TSM versus MIBR. I think TSM wins that. Did I do that right? I feel like I missed something. I think it should be Liquid.
Right.
Let me check just to be sure. Lower bracket round 4. What, did I mix one?
I think you're right. I think it should be Liquid MIBR. If
Oh no.
No?
Yeah. Okay, so it says
Okay.
lower bracket round 4. The top of it says upper bracket number 2 loser.
Oh, okay.
So that would be like my prediction, BDS TSM. Okay. So I was right.
Cool.
Scared myself for a second. I think TSM beats MIBR, yada yada. Then Liquid beats FaZe. But I think all of the Latin American matchups are going to be close regardless, just because they know each other, right? And there's so many Latin American teams that are going to end up facing each other, I believe. But I think Liquid starts to they start to gain a little bit more momentum on this day, beating FaZe. I think that would leave them as the sole Latin team left too. Same with TSM.
Mm-hmm.
And then day, what was that, 4, right? 4 is upper bracket finals and lower bracket semis. I think Empire will remain dominant. I think BDS will take a map. I think they'll take like map 1. Just make you think Empire's just gonna fall down hard. But no, I think Empire brings it back. They win 2-1. TSM, I think they they'll lose their footing a bit, start to fall a bit, and finally crash when Liquid takes it 2-1. And a very unfortunate loss due to miscommunication or something like that.
Mhm.
So the final day of the 6th Invitational, which would be lower bracket finals and grand finals, I think Liquid edges out BDS after a tough loss to Empire. Because keeping in mind, BDS and Empire have been playing some of the best Siege, the most
Yeah.
consistent team play, the most consistent in mechanical skill from player to player. But BDS, from what I've seen, BDS is showing that they can have some really bad missteps early rounds that cost them later. And someone, I forgot who exactly, but they lost one map. And in that map, it was a very decisive loss from what I saw. Let me go back and check. Oh, I can't find it. Can't find it in the moment, but regardless, I think Liquid has the edge after a good lower bracket. They found their footing in lower brackets once they get put in there. They find their footing before BDS can enter. They knock them out in a very surprising 2-1. So that places my grand finals at Empire versus Team Liquid, with Liquid somehow edging out a very close victory. I think it's going to come down the wire. That's my predictions right there. Empire Liquid final.
Interesting.
I like
So
it.
you're predicting an actual LATAM winner.
Yep.
That's surprising.
So if LATAM wins regardless, I still win.
True, yeah. You're all of LATAM at this point. See the way that I did it though.
All right,
I
Brett.
did not
All right,
think it
Brett.
was even close to what you guys.
Explain to us your bracket.
Not even close to. I think Yeti and I were pretty close, but I think it's like I said this earlier. I don't think they're gonna be super entertaining or surprising games. Really, I think it'll be mostly just the standard kind of games that you're gonna see. I can't really see this being like an exciting tournament. I think it's just gonna be like it'll be some good games here and there. It'll just be whatever. So for that, upper bracket first day we'll have uh, Empire over Oxygen. I don't think that one's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be a 2-0. I think Empire is just too strong right now. Liquid over MIBR. I just think Liquid's the better LATAM team, especially on LAN. BDS over NIP because BDS has been playing lights out. That one might even be a 2-0, but I don't want to. I'll say that BDS take it 2-1, but I'm pretty sure that one will be 2-0. FaZe TSM, I think TSM's going to beat FaZe. Even though FaZe have been looking okay, I think TSM is just better. And that one will probably be 2-1. But I think a lot of these lower brackets, just a bunch of 2-0s. Like, I think DZ isn't going to do well. I think they'll get 2-0'd. I did pick Cloud9 over Makers. I don't think that'll be a 2-0. I think it'll be 2-1, but I think Cloud9 have had a lot of really close games, which can also take them out of favor as well, right? They can be very exhausted. They can be, not as ready to play games, just tired mentally. But I think they'll pull it out, take out Yeti's dark horse. But
ruin his lower bracket.
yeah, for sure. And I think SSG pulls out the win on Team 1. I think that'll be a 2-0. I just think Team 1 isn't that good at this point. Um, what was it? Oh, yeah, G2 Parabellum. I kind of did those all over the map. But I think Parabellum pulls that out over G2. We were talking about earlier. G2 did not look the same. And like I said, I thought, Parabellum could be a little bit of a dark horse, even though I only put them so far in the tournament. I think they could be dark horse. But yeah, I think they beat G2 right off the rip. It'll be the first time that G2 is out in the first round of playoffs. So
Oh,
at least lower bracket playoffs. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, I think that's that for that. Like I said, that'll make SSG and Oxygen play. I think or SSG will win over Oxygen. I don't know. Oxygen been playing well. I just don't know how they're gonna do on tournament land conditions against not only Troy, Canadian, but also like you said, Bosco, Rampy, Fultz, Thinking Nade. They're all great land people. They've been on land. They've won last year. I don't think they'll make it as I had them going quite a ways, but it's gonna be interesting. I think SSG pulls it out of our Oxygen. I think MIBR will probably beat Parabellum. I don't know about that. MIBR has been playing good. That's fine. And then that leads down to Nip Furia, which I think Nip is just better than Furia. Furia have been playing pretty good though, but Nip, I don't think you can beat Nip. After that, we'll go Cloud9 and FaZe. I said Cloud9 up there, but I don't know if like looking at that now, I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't.
Commit to
I'll
your
stick with my
reasoning.
gut. Yeah, I'll
There you
stick
go.
with my gut on this one and say that the same reasoning. I mean, Rays are always pretty inconsistent, no matter who's on that squad. I don't know why. I don't know what's their problem with inconsistency and stuff like that. I think that's just gonna be too emotional. But APAC, they have that weird style, so I don't, you know, it could go any which way. I think Cloud9 just inches it out and go on to play Nip, which I think Nip will blow them out of the water. Uh, and then SSG beats MIBR. They have beat them in the past, so that was kind of my reasoning there. So I was just thinking, oh yeah, I think SSG will be able to play them again, beat them again, and all that. So we'll get to the second round of upper bracket. I think Team Empire versus Liquid. Team Empire I think they'll kind of roll, honestly. I don't think they're going to stop rolling until last day or something. So,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, that. And then BDS, TSM. BDS, I think, will take over TSM. They'll drop down, they'll play NIP. And I think NIP it's going to be a tough game. They play the same style, right? TSM and NIP are pretty much the same. Um, but I think just TSM will push through. Liquid will be playing SSG. I think they'll beat SSG. So it'll be TSM Liquid in lower bracket. They'll be pushed. Uh, and I think TSM will be pushed into the lower bracket finals. Upper bracket is, like I said, Empire, BDS. I think Empire actually lose the BDS both times. So I think BDS wins the upper bracket, and then Empire falls down, goes to TSM. I think they'll beat TSM, and then BDS just beats them again. So I think it'll be probably 3-1, if anything.
Oh,
But we'll see.
with
That's my
map
predictions.
advantage.
Dig
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, just we talked about it too, but Liquid and TSM, their placements in lower bracket are swapped. But
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
regardless, I think you would agree the outcome would probably still be the same.
I think I still think Liquid and TSM meet in the whatever round that is,
Yeah.
fifth round of
Match
lower
play.
bracket, whatever it is.
Yeah, fifth.
Man, that's a lot of games. Now looking
Yeah.
at the bracket like this, it's just like lower bracket are swamped.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're gonna be
we're in for a
mentally
lot of good siege.
exhausted. I
Yeah.
hope so, man. I truly hope so. Because I remember when Goji, Gary, and I went to Raleigh, and we were like, man, we hope we see some good siege. We saw like two matches of good siege. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
FaZe versus Empire was a damn fun match, and then the grand final was a fun match.
yeah.
Everything else was a stomp.
Stomp,
It
yeah.
was
Stomp
boring.
fest.
Watching stomps are so boring. As much as I predicted they would happen early on, I hope they don't actually happen.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's all of us in our predictions.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get Stever to predict a little bit later. But if not, you have at least 3 of the 4.
Yeah, for sure.
Should be a good one, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
I don't know. What do you think will be the best match of the game? Like, if
Ooh.
you think there's going to be a matchup in your bracket, which one's going to be the best in your bracket?
What do you think, Yeti?
I think BDS TSM the first time.
Mm-hmm.
If TSM gets past FaZe and BDS gets past NIP, I think when they meet, I think that's going to be a tremendous match. Um, and then the following match, because I didn't really continue that bracket for whatever reason. Um, Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. The following match, I don't know if I completely believe that Empire will lose to MIBR. After, after us talking about it, I think Empire, I
Made you
think,
doubt it?
yeah, I think Empire is going to beat MIBR, and then Empire BDS right here. I think that is going to be a tremendous match too. So it all depends on if my bracket's correct or not. Um, but I think first day are pretty much straightforward. Lower brackets, just whoever has a good day versus who has a
Yeah.
bad day. Um, but we'll see what happens. I think, like I said, I think BDS TSM going to be a tremendous match, and then if BDS edges past TSM, if they meet Empire, I think that's going to be a tremendous match as well. So, how about you,
There
Pans?
you go. Oh, me. God, my bracket feels so much different than you two's. So it could be nuts. I honestly, okay, you said you were like talking about how two teams, I don't know which one, I think it was Brett, how two teams are playing very similar. I
Mhm.
honestly think TSM MIBR might be more similar than we think. And I want to
It
see
could,
them
yeah.
play each other.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that happen. The only way that happens though is if they either win their upper bracket matches to meet up or they both make it to down to the lower bracket and don't lose
Both fall.
at separate times.
Yeah.
I just want to see that matchup. Um, I don't know. I guess just to add real quick, I think an underrated matchup day one. As much as I said it would be a stomp, I think G2 Parabellum. I hope I'm wrong about my
That's
stomp.
actually, I was actually just about to say that, Ponce. I was like, you know what? I think first round probably going to be the best games. Honestly, I think there's really good matchups there, to be honest.
Yeah, Brett. So what was your match to look out for from your
That
bracket?
one, or well, if we like move farther into the bracket, I would probably think the maybe even the Liquid TSM. If I'm gonna be honest, like Liquid TSM could be a one hell of a banger because it's
Hell
like
yeah.
like Liquid and TSM are both aggressive. I would say they're both pretty aggressive, but Liquid are a lot more methodical, I guess. So it's gonna be like a battle
It'd
of
also
aggression.
be it'll be a revenge match for Liquid too because Liquid lost a grand final from a minor to
Mm-hmm.
TSM.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all don't
Yeah,
remember too much about that, it was
true.
Bolo's like show out.
Bolo.
Yeah, his first time
Bolelo.
competing on a land stage.
Dream hacker.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah. So I think that'll be a pretty good one. I just think that, like I said, Liquid's pretty systematic. I think TSM are a lot more sporadic and uh, unpredictable, but I think Liquid uh, have that kind of EU style mixed with a LATAM. So I don't know. I think it could be a really good one. Like, and along with the Parabellum G2 one, I think that'll be underrated as well.
hell yeah. Anything else, Yeti?
I don't think so.
Yeah, and like we're all NA peeps, right? We're obviously
Mm,
all over here. We're all about NA, but I
I
remember,
don't
yeah,
think they'll
like I
get
said,
far.
the as much as I want them to do well, I don't think NA teams are going to do well
I
because
don't think this
being
is the
in such
year.
a
Yeah.
secluded spot,
Yeah.
they've been playing on land, but I think that's messed up with how they've decided to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said earlier, I heard it from someone else. I'm just going to repeat what they said because it made sense. every single team that showed up to SI from NA, they've been so damn complacent. It's like they
Yes, they
want
have.
they think they're forcing the enemy team to play to their time. While it's just the opposite. They let people walk all over them every single matchup.
Hmm.
And it's just not what I like to see from NA teams. So that's all I wanted to get that little bit in there, my
Yeah,
little
for
mini
sure.
rant.
Yeah, it's I don't think it's a good tournament for NA. I don't really think it's a good tournament for APAC either, but because there's only Cloud9, but uh yeah, NA and I don't know, LATAM, it's kind of I don't
LATAM
know.
really showed up in my opinion.
They showed up, but like the way that they're all scatterbrained across the bracket, it's kind of like I don't know. They could get cucked real hard. That's like
Yeah,
I don't know.
true. Yeti, any closing thoughts on what you think about each region real fast?
I don't think so. I'm just really excited to see how all this plays out. I think,
Yeah,
like you said, I'm praying it's not just blowout after blowout after blowout. I'm praying we get some really,
Yeah.
really good quality siege. Um, but yeah, other than I'm just mind blown at how bad G2's played. Just because I've always really liked G2 and like
Mm.
that whole roster. Just I like all those players. Like Kanto is one of my favorite players to watch ever, and just seeing their performance as a team this whole Invitational has been disappointing a little bit, but
Yeah.
can't win them
And
all.
you can see it on their faces too when they
Yeah,
lost matches. They were
absolutely. They were
devastated.
devastated. Yeah.
yeah. I just feel like all of the I don't know. G2 is such like a weird team right now because it's like in their own right, Virtue and Citizen and Uno and Kanto could all be fraggers at one point or another,
Hmm.
and I don't know. It's
Hmm.
just I don't know.
It's unfortunate. But we
And I
should
don't know enough about
probably
kayak, but
still new. We talked about it earlier too. But
Hmm.
yeah,
yeah,
we should probably be closing out now, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
We got what we wanted to get done. We got more to talk about later, I'm
Yep.
sure. A lot
Tune in
more
after the
happening later.
Invitational.
Oh, that'll be a
We'll be
hell to
reflecting on
pay.
reflecting on what happened.
There'll
Should be
Either
be
all
fun.
going to
Should
be
be a good one.
heartbroken or someone's going to be happy.
Yeah.
there's gonna be a million fucking moves.
Yep. So basically, like he said, thanks for stopping by, listening, hanging out. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want, look us up on what? Apple
Any
Podcasts
socials.
and
No, we
Spotify
don't have Apple
Any
and
Podcasts.
social,
no, not
bro.
Apple.
Any
Okay,
social.
don't look us up on Apple. Just just look us up on
We're on
Twitter.
Spotify.
Look us up on Twitter at nomadgaming.net, at Spotify, uh, just
TikTok,
yeah, YouTube. Just
TikTok.
all the good stuff.
look
Links will
us
be
up.
down on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
As far as everywhere else I can get, I'll get links there as much as I can.
Let us know what you think of our predictions. Give us your predictions, and we'll see you in the next episode.